Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here today. I'm talking about the movie Crimes of the Future. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie and you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. Crimes of the Future is David Cronenberg's newest movie. It's set in a near future society where people don't feel pain and are genetically modifying their bodies. For either, well, I guess mostly for art. So as far as what I liked about the movie, I thought most of the cast was really great. Viggo Mortensen as the lead character was really good. Seydoux as well. And I especially liked Tanaya Beatty and Lily Kornowski as the two techs who come by and actually have a bigger role as well. Overall, I thought the story and the storytelling was really good. The story itself, it's not perfect. There's some issues with it, but I found it engaging, and I really liked sort of the mystery and trying to figure out what was going on with the story and where it was going to go from there. I also liked the fact that it was an original story. It wasn't based on any sort of existing IP or anything like that. It was David Cronenberg came up with this idea that may have been sort of based on some other ideas in one of his earlier films. But yeah, it's not based on a comic book or a book, or it's not a remake or anything like that. I thought the practical effects in this movie were pretty good throughout. There's some that are a little, funny looking, but that's sort of the appeal to practical effects for me. And it's very classic kind of Cronenberg with the effects on there. Overall, the music, which was by Howard Shore, was really good and interesting. And the visuals in the movie, David Cronenberg is always known for very striking visuals. And this movie was very much in the same vein as the rest of his movies. I also thought the sound mixing in the movie was really good. There's a part, either that or there's a part where there's a fly when he's outside, like flying around, and you can hear it sort of buzzing around and moving around in the speakers behind you. Either that or there was actually a fly in the theater when I was watching the movie. I'm not sure. But no, I think that was the sound mixing. That was cool. It was interesting. It was very immersive. As far as what I disliked about the movie, I didn't love Kristen Stewart in the movie. Although the more I think about it, maybe she was doing something on purpose. I'm not quite sure, but the way she's acting it's very obvious that she's acting to me. I guess it's because I've seen her in other stuff, so I know the way she acts, but she's acting sort of like Joan Cusack in a lot of Joan Cusack's movies, just this very kind of nervous, kind of weird kind of thing. But I suppose it's possible that she was doing that on purpose, because again, this is a spoiler review. They do reveal that she is a secret agent working for the new Vice Squad or whatever. So maybe she was acting. She was supposed to be acting, but if so, then they don't do the reveal. They don't do the thing where she all of a sudden stops being creepy and shows that she's normal, and she's actually like, nope, I was an undercover cop. I didn't think Scott Speedman was that good in this either. He was fine. He's a decent actor, but there was times where I think it could have been a little bit better, or I wonder if maybe somebody else were in the role, if I would have liked his character a little bit more. There are some parts in the movie that are CGI. It wasn't terrible, but you could definitely tell it was CGI, and I definitely preferred the stuff that was practical effects to the CGI stuff. I think the first act in the movie does drag a little bit. I had sort of an interesting experience with this movie where at first I was really engaged. I thought the opening was really cool. They have this thing with this kid, and he's like eating on a bucket. And you're like, what the hell is going on with this? And there's like this ooze coming out of his mouth. And then the mother, by the way, if anyone's watching this movie, this review, just because like you like me, you don't have to watch this review. It's fine. This is a weird movie. You can turn it off now. Hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. You can turn it off now. Everybody, yeah, thank you. So yeah, the movie starts with this kid eating a plastic bucket, and then his mother suffocates him with a pillow. And so that's how it starts. And you're like, okay, this is weird. And so then Scott Speedman's character is the father of that child. And basically throughout the movie, and it does really take its time in revealing everything, you find out that the kid was allegedly, according to Scott Speedman's character, born with this sort of genetic change that he had done electively. So somehow evolution had, which I mean makes no sense, and that's the biggest issue I have with the story. On a scientific level, it makes no sense at all. But fine, if you're just suspension of disbelief, you put that aside. The rest of it's pretty engaging, and so I do think the beginning was a little slow, is what I was starting to say there, and but the rest of it I think was pretty good. It's just it does at the beginning. It drags a little as you're trying to figure out what's going on. Who are these people, Like I said, the science and logistics behind everything doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. And it does end somewhat abruptly. So, like I said, there's this whole thing going on with Scott Speedman's kid, and he wants Viggo Mortensen to do an autopsy of the kid so people will see that this kid was actually born with the ability to eat this plastic stuff. And so they do the autopsy, but the kid's got regular organs that have all been tattooed. And you find out later that it was actually Kristen Stewart's character who tattooed all of the organs on this kid. And the kid actually was born with these sort of genetic changes. And then the two techs, who seem to be just kind of fun-loving little techs who are kind of silly, kill this dude because they are actually. So there's a lot of like double cross and double cross kind of stuff, like you know, The Departed or something like that. Almost to the point where there's a little bit too many double crosses. But still, it was an interesting movie and it was fun to watch and it was pretty engaging. But like I said, the ending is somewhat abrupt because it ends with him eating the plastic. And I expected that to happen once they introduced Viggo Mortensen's character eating the plastic. I expected them to do that because that makes sense. But usually that's where like the second act of the movie would be. And then there would be a third act where like he would, you know, join up with the people who are like the resistance and help them to bring down the corrupt government or whatever. And they didn't do that. And I don't know, maybe they didn't have to. Maybe it would have been too predictable to do that. But that's sort of the structure of a movie generally, I think. Or at least that's where I sort of expected it to go. And it just ends. That's it. Credits roll. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, there you go. So other than that, the movie is directed by David Cronenberg. Like I said, he's probably most famous for The Fly. Or Videodrome probably, but Videodrome. He also did Dead Ringers, Crash, eXistenZ, and this did remind me a lot of Crash and eXistenZ, however you say it, and The Fly a bit with the body horror kind of stuff. So in a lot of ways, this does seem like a combination of a lot of his other previous movies. And then I guess one of his first movies, his first or second movie, was also called Crimes of the Future. I haven't seen that, and I'm not exactly sure. I assume it's a different movie in some ways. But yeah, I should watch that, I guess. And he also did, of course, Eastern Promises and History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen before this. So as far as what I thought of the movie, it's really hard to score it. I've been all over here, really. At one point I thought it was a 6, and then I'm like, no, I guess it's a 7. And then I'm like, is it an 8? I really don't know. I think I'm going to settle on an 8. I think, yeah, well, I said it. I think it's a low 8, high 7. I'll go with an 8. Let's be nice. I like Cronenberg. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.